Well, a very good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Your Manchester with me, Ms. Belinda Scandal.
And me, Mr. Mark Llewellyn.
Now, where are we, please, Mr. Mark?
I've no idea. Do you know, I was sat in my care home and then poof, here I am with you. It looks like the Lowry to me.
It does, a venue that's been here for 25 years, everybody.
And
they're just launching a wonderful show called Dear England.
Yes, that's right. It's all about football, isn't it? We
It
are
is.
awash with balls.
As I normally am. Now listen, we have been lucky enough to be invited down here today to be on the green AstroTurf carpet, everybody, as we speak to some of the people that are coming watching this show. But also, on our show today, it's quite sport orientated, isn't it?
Well, it is, isn't it? We're starting with a Ginganguli and an extra special knot because we're talking to Sam Cochran, who's the director of a special musical coming to Oatmill called Scouts.
And then I was lucky enough to go down under and diving with an Olympian, Mr. Matthew Mitcham, who's just literally, as we spoke, gone down to London.
And I thought I saw him swim along the canal just now, so that may be how he's going.
That's called a geese. Yes, it is.
Is it? Well, let's hope we're not goosed by the geese.
Well, we could possibly be, but listen, we can't stop. We are noticing that people are arriving as we speak for Dear England here at the Lowry. Check out all the dates for the tickets. We're off to the AstroTurf.
Come on, love.
AstroTurf?
Yes.
Which makes me think, if they did AstroTurf in different colours, would it be a carpet? Dear England, pure football. Do you like football?
I do like football.
Yes.
I'm so excited to see this.
What are you looking forward to in this then?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah, the football action, the backstory,
All the behind the scenes and stuff.
yeah, behind the scenes stuff,
Fantastic.
definitely.
Who do you support?
England, of course.
A local team or not?
Leeds.
Leeds?
Yeah.
Are they doing all right at the moment?
They won the championship. So
I see you're wearing red today. Is that in support of England?
Oh, do you know what? I didn't even think about that. I've obviously subconsciously just done that, haven't I?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you have a favourite football team?
I used to be a United fan, but I suppose.
Oh, there we go. At least you picked the right team.
Yeah.
It's all about the England team with
Yes.
with Gareth Southgate, and I know that it's from the national. My friend's been to see it; she cried like a baby.
Oh, really?
So I'm expecting tears.
I've chosen completely the wrong outfit. So this morning, 7 o'clock, walk the dogs. Beautiful.
Yeah.
3 o'clock, it's raining.
But by the time you come out, it'll be sunny.
I hope so.
It's
Something
gonna
I'm
be,
going to
yes.
look foolish, aren't I?
Yes.
I brought my dad with me. He's a massive football fan.
Right.
He started supporting different clubs when he came over from the Windrush era.
Right.
But he has got a big love for England, even though sometimes when Jamaica's playing, he'll sway over to the other side. But I'm just looking forward to just seeing how it's going to be put together, because I believe that there's a lot of dance, there's a lot of production and movement, and I'm thinking, how can that be done when it's a football match? So I'm really interested in that. But when I was speaking to Gwilym, who's playing Gareth Southgate, he mentioned about the abuse and the racism that the black players got. I want to see how that's going to be portrayed, because I remember just looking and watching Saka and Marcus Rashford when they got all that abuse, and we saw it unfold on social media.
Yeah.
So I really want to see how that's going to work out.
An issue that must be close to you as a doctor must be mental health, and this is tackled in here.
Yes.
How important is it to break down the stigma between masculinity within sport?
Absolutely. So my work is all about that. I've written books for kids and young people that's all about masculinity, exploring those sort of narratives that we've got and stereotypes, and breaking some of that down and getting boys and men to talk. That's really incredible. I think it's so important, and if a vehicle like this can do that, even better.
Have a pop there for us, Mr. James Graham, the writer of the show. Tell us, how do you write something like this?
Oh God, you just have to type words into your computer and then press send. It's that easy.
Is it that easy?
I wish it was. No, I felt I had huge imposter syndrome when I first tackled this. I love England, I love international football, but it did feel really intimidating. Like, how do you put football on stage, make it not really cringy, make it relevant to people who don't like football, make it authentic to people who do like football. But no, I'm so proud of what we've done.
Because it could be kind of come across, if it's not done correctly, as campy, couldn't it?
Oh yeah, and I don't mind a bit of camp, but it's I think you have to find like what makes it more of a universal story than that. So it can't just be about tactics and the offside rule and player selection. And thankfully, I think Gareth Southgate's story, because it's about how you walk into any culture, any environment, and how you change that to make it more positive. It's about mental health, it's about masculinity, and it's about like a positive kind of patriotism, which I feel like we all need right now.
Do you hope that the barriers between mental health and sport will be broken down through your writing?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I feel like the power of theatre is by nature, it's like really empathetic. It like demands, unlike sort of social media or anything else, it locks you away for 2 hours and demands like a different quality of listening, and you have to walk in through the footsteps of people maybe you wouldn't normally walk through. Yeah. And I just have to say, like Gareth Southgate, for whatever everyone's got loads of opinions about whether he's good or bad England manager. But what I think everyone understands that he did do was recognise that some of these young men, even though they're millionaires, even though they're really famous, they were often like struggling with the pressure. He brought in psychologists to help deal with their fear. Yeah. And I think whatever your background, that's a really positive approach to going, I'm going to share my vulnerabilities, I'm going to acknowledge when I'm anxious or scared, and he sort of embraced that.
And what do you hope people will walk away from the show feeling?
I think Gareth's story is like really, like, it is like Shakespearean. I know he doesn't look like a naturally epic kind of figure. He's Gareth from Crawley with a really normal sort of life, but I feel like his path of really failing in 1996 when he missed a famous penalty to 20 years later coming back with this resilience and this compassion and this kindness and trying to transform his story into something more positive that can help other people and welcoming new people to sport and to be less intimidating. I think that's a really hopeful message.
What's your thoughts on that? Should men be talking about their emotions?
Yeah, I think everybody should be, men and women. I definitely think they should. I think it's quite topical at the moment, and people are, talking about it a lot, and I think that's a really positive thing.
Do you think the stigma with sport and mental health needs to be brought down?
Yeah, I do, because I think it's there's a lot of pressure, isn't there, about sports people and being butch and all of that sort of thing, and not talking about it. That's the right terminology.
And theatre has that opportunity to then
it absolutely
tell
does.
that story.
It does.
Who wants to see this show?
But this
you or the family?
I mean, it is meant to be absolutely amazing. The people that I've spoke to who've already seen it is, it's going to be quite. I'm taking my little boy, my little 10-year-old, but actually, it's really. That time in football was horrible, but some really nice things came out of it, but it was horrible. So.
Do you think football's changed over the last few years?
I mean, I'm not a pundit, but I tell you what I love, and this year we are well behind them as well. The fact that, and I think actually a little exclusive, I think Corrie might be doing a little bit something with them. It's the women's Euros this summer, and the Lionesses. So I think there's something.
So are you having to learn?
You and Maureen Lipman, is it?
I'm not. I can't tell you anymore. Basically, me and Evelyn.
Oh, we've obviously hit on it, haven't we?
Yes. That'd be quite amazing. Wouldn't it? She'd make a good football manager, though.
She would, wouldn't she? Yes.
What's your knowledge of football?
Well, I'm a huge football fan, fortunately.
Are you?
Yeah. I say that I support Blackpool, so obviously that's kind of a contradiction, really, isn't it?
It's the taking part that counts.
It's exactly, isn't it? Yeah. But I remember this tournament very well. Love Gareth Southgate. Love what he tried to do. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Did you love what he failed to do?
Well, do you know, there is always that sense of inevitability, isn't there? I think as an England fan, you're not there to win. No. You are there to take part, as you say.
Yes, which is important, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
How much do you think football's changed over the past 10 years?
Well, with England, clearly we're better than we were. I mean, gosh, 2016 we were rubbish, weren't we? So, yeah, I think we've probably improved a little bit, thanks to Gareth and what he did.
I think he could have done better, but he was up against the odds, I think, with modern day players. You have to deal with egos, money, of course, which is always a problem in this day and age. I mean, back in the day when I used to follow football all the time, I was brought up in the 40s and 50s. My dad used to take me to Wolves in the heyday of Wolves when it was Billy Wright used to be the captain there. He was also captain of England. And he was married to Joy
sisters,
Beverley.
That's right.
They were the posh and becks of their day in the 50s, And so in the 60s, 50s and 60s, players didn't get what they get now. It was a working man's job fees in those days. But now money has crept in, of course. But he had a lot to cope with, and I mean, they could have. I think they could have reached higher things, the team, when he managed, but just fell short every time. Don't blame it just on him, though. I don't think it was just his fault. But you need a manager in this day and age. Ala Fergie proved it. you got to be able to kick some ass.
Yes.
Managers do, you
Yeah.
know, and I don't know whether Southgate kicked much ass.
You haven't left that spot. You're still there.
Hold up! Southgate!
Oh yeah, Southgate!
Player selection, in with the new. History in the making! We're in a tournament final! England's fate will be decided by penalty. Dear England, I know you're angry, but please, listen. Be you. Use your voice. Connect with the fans as you. We are one England. A new England.
So, Mark,
Yes.
let me ask you a question. Have you ever been a scout?
No, I have not. Were you a Girl Guide?
I was a brownie.
Oh.
And also, I must
Yes.
just say, there is a brand new fantastic show coming our way very, very soon called Scouts the Musical.
Right, and that is happening, I believe, at Hope Mill Theatre. And we're very lucky to be joined by the director of this production, and that is Sam Cochrane. Hello, Sam. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Thank you for having me. No, it's great to be here.
So, Sam, were you a scout?
I wasn't, but co-writer of the show, David Fallon, was a scout. So we sort of approached it coming at it two different angles, so that it could be, everyone could enjoy it, essentially, yeah.
I mean, how camp is the campfire?
It's a bit camp. There's some kick lines. There's a lot of jazz hands. It is everything you could want from a family-friendly musical, I would say. We definitely hit the brief there.
So, Sam, I've got to ask, because you're looking very, very handsome at the moment. Tell me, will you be wearing your woggle?
I personally, I'm not in the show itself, so I won't be, but every one of our cast members will be wearing a woggle, necker. They'll have the uniform supplied from the Scouts themselves. So yeah, we've got the official merch as well.
So then this show has had a bit of a life.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, we did it at the Other Palace in London, it went down really well. We sold out the run and were lucky enough to get a What's on Stage Awards nomination for the show for Best Off-West End Production. And naturally, we just wanted to take it on a little tour afterwards because there's, people, musical theatre lovers and scout groups all over England. So we wanted to take it to a few different places. We're going to Birmingham before Hope Mill. We're then at the Hope Mill for, I think it's the 10th to the 15th of June. Then on to London and then to Bath. So it's the whole month of June that we're touring, which is really exciting. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic because the last few shows at the Hope Mill have been a bit sort of adult orientated.
Oh, they have. Yes.
She's been there on the front row, I can tell you, with the opera glasses. So this one is a bit more family friendly then.
It is, yes. It's for everyone. And the really nice thing as well, when we did the show previously, and we can expect it this time round, was that it was literally all ages. We had toddlers there, right up until, lots of old folks as well. It was a proper, I think of all the shows we've done before, it definitely felt like the one that was for everyone, which was just really nice to see that, everyone could, like a whole family could come on a day out, friends, volunteers at the Scouts or people who haven't seen a musical before. It's a great one to introduce you to, but then we've also got loads of musical theatre references and tropes and things that we lead into. So yeah, we really feel like it's there's something there for everyone to enjoy.
So, do you think this show will inspire more people perhaps to join the Scouts and possibly the Beavers?
We really love that. That's part of why we wanted to create the show, was that we could let people know about what the Scouts are doing now. Obviously, everyone's heard of the Scouts, but the movement has changed a lot since it was created. Over 100 years ago. So yeah, we really want to encourage lots of young people to go on adventures of their own, and then also hopefully get into musical theatre maybe as well. There's so many ties, I think, between the Scouting movement and musical theatre. Believe it or not, it feels like it's the perfect subject matter for a musical because they have all the values that make a great show, and they do their own gang shows which are sort of almost like cabaret-esque performances. There's lots of different songs and scenes and things, comedy sketches, and we feel like it's so almost musical theatre. So it's like a natural partnership, I'd say. Yeah.
So that's the 10th to the 15th of June. If you're doing a sequel to this, perhaps avoid calling it Beaver, the musical.
Well, actually, the head of guides did ask if I wanted to do a spin-off, but I don't know. I don't want to pigeonhole myself too much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you.
Now is Mr. Matthew Mitcham. Welcome to our show. Now, tell us, you've got letters after your name.
Yes.
How did that come about and what are them letters?
The letters are OAM.
Yes.
So I guess it's the Australian equivalent of the OBE.
Right. Of course, we should say you're over here at the moment with the play Jock Night, but you've had this really long career as a diver.
Yes, what I am most well known for is winning the 10-metre platform event at the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games. And in doing so, I actually came out as gay to the media, to the world, before the Beijing Games.
How do you come out in a situation where there isn't many people that are coming out?
You know, I think it was just kind of a hangover of that time. But yeah, from Beijing, it just kind of exploded. There were 11 open athletes in Beijing in 2008. In 2012 in London, there were 24. In Rio in 2016, there were about 42. And then in Tokyo in 2021, there were like 120 or 100 and something. And then, yeah, in Paris last year, there were like nearly 200 openly queer athletes.
So it's got easier then, but I mean, for you coming out, that couldn't have been that easy.
I'd had the experience of being in the closet, and literally there was nothing I could think of in the world that would feel worse than that feeling of being back in the closet again. So, you know, it was pretty easy for me because I couldn't imagine anything worse.
Was you in the closet with your friends, or was it just in the sport that you were in the closet?
I just mean as a teenager, you know. It's one of those things, you know, I think when you're not open about yourself, people can sense that there are obstacles there, but if you're not being open about it, they don't know what the obstacles are and how to navigate them, and so that consequently led to a bit of, you know, isolation, alienation within the training environment. But once I ended up actually retiring at 18 because I just wasn't enjoying the sport, and then came back to it a year later in a different city, in a really beautifully inclusive training environment. And that was the catalyst for the improvements. That was only 15 months before the Beijing Games. So, you know, it really was a testament to me how much an inclusive training environment and being able to bring your whole self to training really is, that was the catalyst for everything else to come after.
So now you mentioned low self-esteem. You've put yourself right in front of millions of people, and then you've retired from that, and now you're back doing entertainment here in Manchester at the moment and then down to London. How do you reckon with having low self-esteem and wanting to be seen? And we should say we're referring to Jock Night here, where you are literally seen.
I started this journey around, you know, theatre in 2013. I was touring cabaret shows around Australia for 5 years before moving to the UK. And so I had to have this understanding of, because I mean, I love the applause, I love the validation, it feels so good. And so I had to kind of be aware of, like, you know, yes, the applause and the laughter is nice, but not to become entirely dependent on it, because that's an external source of validation. I need to, you know, be comfortable enough with myself that should I not get laughs and claps, that I'm still okay with myself. So, you know, that was a learning process. And I think I'm much better around that now. Sometimes I still, you know, have little wobbles with my self-esteem. This is the most exposed I've ever been, actually, in my life, because my whole career, my diving career, I always had, it was a little bit of fabric, but it was fabric covering myself. In Jock Night, there's even less fabric, and then at one point, there's even no fabric.
But also the story of Jock Night, written by Adam Zane, kind of, now I've spoke to you, seems to be quite a reflection on your life.
Yes. That's why I did it. They actually reached out to me to ask if I wanted to audition for the play, because I think they'd seen an interview that I'd done around, you know, my history with addiction.
But I think your character was given the most unforgiving characteristics. I mean, you come in here, you come in after everybody else, near enough, I think, after everybody else, in fact, and you kind of give the dark side with very little, I would say, comedy on your side.
That's right, yeah. So overall, the play is very, very balanced with its light and shade and levity and gravitas, but it's not evenly distributed between the characters. No. And it's true, yeah. So my character definitely drives a lot of the narrative and brings that serious stuff and has some shocking moments.
But was it difficult? Did you have a moment in rehearsals where perhaps you were revisiting a certain part of your life and it kind of took hold of you? In reading the script, obviously because I was reading mostly my parts, I found the play to be incredibly sad. But it wasn't until we actually got into the rehearsal room where I saw my parts in context of the rest of the play that I realised that the play is not sad. The play has moments of reality, and it is, you know, unfortunately, like, you know, this character brings a lot of the sadness and the gravitas, but it also brings all the reality. It was a taboo subject for a while, but thanks to plays like this and, you know, people making awareness of it, it's getting less taboo. Do you think that's a good idea?
The unfortunate thing about, you know, about addictions at all is that, you know, they are quite taboo. But, you know, the problem with chemsex is it's got the taboo of drug addiction and the taboo of sex addiction, and then you've got sex and drugs, which is like is the most. It's just so much more taboo, which means that the shame is so much greater than either of those addictions by themselves, and the shame really prevents people from actually going out and getting help. And so the more it is spoken about, the more it's portrayed in the mainstream, the more that helps to break down the taboo and also bring some awareness that the problem exists for not just for me, but for many people, and that there are solutions, you know, there are resources out there to get help.
Now, Jock Night is currently in Manchester, and then it goes where?
So after we leave Manchester, sadly, we will be going to London, where we will be performing in the West End for 2 weeks, which will be very exciting.
Bit disappointed you didn't arrive in your Speedos, but we can work on that for another time. Matthew Mitcham, everybody. we've just fully watched Dear England. It's ever so good, isn't
We
it?
have here at the Lowry, that is correct. And I mean, I wouldn't say we are the biggest football experts in the world.
Oh, absolutely not, no. But what did you think of it?
I absolutely loved it.
I did too.
Yeah.
I think I've learned more about football today than I've known in my whole 19 years.
And it was also very funny, wasn't it? Beautifully staged.
Very funny, but full of heart.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was amazing to see the characters as well and understand a bit more about the actual players.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's not to like, though? Good story. A lot of men in shorts and a bit of dribbling.
Indeed. So what are you giving it then?
I am giving it 5 out of 5.
I am giving it 6 out of 5, everybody.
Oh.
So you need to check this one out here at the Lowry. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. Back of the net.
Yes.
Good. And with
Well.
that said, everybody, we do unfortunately have to come to the end of today's episode.
Oh, please don't make it so.
It is. Well, I've been diving. I've been playing football.
Yes.
I've been learning about the Scouts. I feel very, very educated.
Yes, I do indeed. It's taught me a lesson or two, I can tell you.
Indeed. Now make sure you're checking out the podcast this week, everybody. It's available right now on all our audio platforms.
Yes, and we're on all the Tickery Talk and the Facey Talk and all that sort of stuff, aren't we?
All of that stuff. Now, next week's episode,
what? Oh, hang
next
on a
week's
minute. Yes,
episode
what?
is
Yes.
going to be,
Is it?
let's just say, aesthetically pleasing.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Ooh, what are we learning to do? Make curtains?
Aha, pull yourself together. Thanks for watching this week's episode of
Your Manchester.